I'm Lisa, and I'm the mom half of this duo.
And I'm Shada. I'm Lisa's daughter. And welcome to Two Peas in a Plot, our little corner of the internet where we talk all things books.
We read across genres and love everything from underrated gems to longtime favorites.
And just a quick heads up while we try to avoid spoilers, we do talk about what we liked or didn't. So there might be a few light spoilers along the way just to give you some context.
So if you love stories and want to grow your TBR, hit that subscribe button and join the plot. Hello, everyone, and welcome back. My question for Shada is, what's your current reading mood? Is it light, fun, or dark and twisty? Or something else?
Oh, definitely dark and twisty. I don't know why I've the last few books I've read or started reading, they're all Tor Nightfire books. I didn't realize, and that's their horror imprint. So I'm just on a horror kick right now. What about you? You're doing a lot of book club things, so you're kind of all
Yeah.
over, not necessarily on by choice, but
They're good. I will say it's good for me, but I prefer a cozy. And I think now after reading some deep books that, well, they're deep for me. I want to go back to a cozy or something fun and lighthearted. So I think that's where I'm at right now. I read a really good book, which we'll go into next week, but yeah. And the one we're talking about today was it was another book club pick, which was, and I'll kind of explain why it's, I like to read these, but few and far between, I think, because they just are so emotional and to me, they take a lot out of me. So our book today is Independence by Chitra Banerjee Divakaruni. And this was published in January of 2023. I have read one of her other books. It's called Sister of My Heart many years ago, but it was so long ago I can't remember anything about it. And it was on a suggestion of a coworker who actually, I guess, read the book and suggested it to me. So, Independence was a really good book. Although, like I said, I tend not to read these books that focus on drama or unrest, sadness that the story usually brings. I have no regrets to reading the book. It wasn't a choice to read it, except that it was a book club pick. And I wanted to join this book club for the summer, the last month of the summer. And it was a good read, but it unsettles you to me and makes you think outside your normal vision of life in general. But I want to describe it through Amazon, what they state about the book, because I find that I have a hard time describing these types of books in general because it deals with so much drama and I don't know where to start. But in India, set in India, 1947, in a rural village in Bengal live three sisters. Priya, intelligent and idealistic, resolved to follow in her father's footsteps and become a doctor, though society frowns on it. Deepa, the beauty, determined to make a marriage that will bring her family joy and status. Jamini, devout, sharp eyed, and a talented quilt maker with deeper passions than she reveals. Theirs is a home of love and safety, a refuge from the violent events taking shape in the nation. Then their father is killed during a riot, and even their neighbors turn against them, bringing the events of their country closer to home. As Priya determinedly pursues her career goal, Deepa falls madly in love with a Muslim, causing her to break with her family, and Jamini attempts to hold her family together, even as she secretly longs for her sister's fiance. When the partition of India is officially decided, a drastic and dangerous change is in the air. India is now for Hindus, Pakistan for Muslims. The sisters find themselves separated from one another, each on different paths. They fear for what will happen to not just themselves, but each other. The author outdoes herself with this deeply moving story of sisterhood and friendship, painting an account of India's independence, simultaneously exhilarating and devastating, that will make any reader, new or old, a devoted fan. You can really feel the characters going through everything the way the author writes this story. And obviously, the story is about three sisters and their journeys throughout, changing and growing up to a certain extent. It's in a way, it's like a coming of age. To me, all three women experience simultaneously growing up and kind of differently, but then at the end, I believe they do come together. As I've stated before, I always have a difficult time explaining books that deal with family drama and part growing up because the book takes you on each character's journey, which is very fulfilled with each experience. And this is probably why I'm not a writer. I can't get that deep, or it's too upsetting to me. But it was a good book. I don't know why good books have to have sad endings. I mean, they're sad and then they have some sort of not coming together, but it ends up kind of being happy with the way it can be after the sadness has occurred. That's all I can say.
Bittersweet, maybe?
Hmm?
Bittersweet.
Bittersweet. That's a good explanation. Not a good explanation, a good description. Bittersweet. Yeah. That was in the book that I read. I finished yesterday. It's bittersweet. Very good. I'll have to remember that.
I realized that I've never read any of this author's work, but when I was applying for graduate school, U of H was one of the places that I was looking at for creative writing, and she teaches there. She's the Betty and Jean McDavid Professor of Writing at U of H.
What does that mean?
I think like her professorship has a title, so it's extra fancy. I don't really know
Wow.
what it means, but I know she's been there for many years.
Yeah, Sister of My Heart. It was suggested to me and I read it in 2012 and this author was still teaching at U of H
Yeah.
at the time.
Yeah, I'm wondering if she's tenured, but I would
2012.
think so. She's
I
been
would
there
think
forever.
so. Yeah. I don't know how long she'd been there before I picked up this book, but I don't even think that was her first book. And I think it was published in The Sisters of My Heart, maybe in 2000.
It looks like she started publishing in the mid 90s. The Sister of My Heart looks like it came out in 99, so close
Okay.
to 2000.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a serious book. You know,
Yeah.
interestingly, so this deals with partition. I don't know if I'm just in the minority, but I'm not really a Marvel person. I know that's really controversial. I'm not, I like the movies okay, but yeah, I'm not a huge Marvel fan, but I did really enjoy the miniseries Ms. Marvel.
Oh,
And
me too.
did you watch it?
If it's the one I think it is, yeah, I believe so. And I loved her as an actress.
She's a teenager and her family are immigrants from India and Pakistan.
I'm thinking of something else then.
You're thinking of not a Marvel movie, I think.
Tell me more about the series. It just
Yeah.
reminds you of it.
Well, so in Ms. Marvel, there's actually some kind of time travel involved too, and she ends up seeing like the how her family not necessarily escaped partition, but like all the upheaval around partition and the like how families were split apart and d- all the chaos when that border was being declared between India and Pakistan. And that I was like, I don't remember much of the actual superhero stuff in Ms. Marvel. I just really enjoyed the family saga. And I didn't realize partition was a thing until I watched Ms. Marvel. So
I,
that
I
shows a huge lapse in my education, but yeah, it seems to this is probably a false equivalency, but how the Koreas were broken apart and families were separated. It seems like Partition did much of
Mhm.
the same thing in between India and Pakistan. So,
Well, it opened my eyes because I think sometimes when you're so far away from countries, certain countries, you're not as affected, or you can avoid certain aspects of history because you're not just exposed to it. And I didn't know that that's how Pakistan was formed. And it seemed like everybody got along even though they were from different religions in the book. But then it became an issue after this riot. But I will say the reason why the villagers turned against this family were for different reasons. But when you read the book, you'll find out more. And the mom kind of behaved differently too after her husband died. She just kind of was ill. But it was a good book. I can't wait to hear how they talk about it. I'm always afraid that a book's going to take me a long time to read. So then I read it way in advance of the book discussion, and then I can't remember all the details that I wanted to talk about. So we're supposed to meet more towards the end of August to talk about the book. But it was
and
a
I
good
think
read.
we're a few months ahead of if when you're listening to this. Um, so you've probably already talked about it with your group by the time people are hearing
Oh, you're
this.
right. You're right. I forget that.
Yeah, we're
Yes,
trying to be good and record a bunch of things ahead of time.
exactly. Yeah, I forget. This won't be posted till quite a few months later. But I'm excited about getting together and hearing everybody's discussion about it. And that's what I find in the book club is that they bring out different things that were important to them or that they read into it more than I would have, or I focused on something else. And I know one of the questions that I was reading about, because I was just trying to review it, is that which character or which sister did you, um, what is the word I'm looking for?
Connect with.
Yeah. Which sister did you connect with more? And I think Priya was one of the ones, maybe because she had a more modern outlook on things, because she's the one that wanted to become a doctor. And her journey is kind of sad because she does take, I don't think it's given away too much. She takes an exam that she has to take to get into medical school. And she knows all the questions. She's really smart. She's been working with her dad at the clinic and she gets denied. And she can't imagine that she missed any of the questions. But because she's a woman, she feels that's why she wasn't accepted. And she meets some people later on that tell her instead of waiting 2 years and applying again for the same medical school, go to the US. So then she goes to the US. And that's kind of, they don't talk about that journey as much. And then I later related to Deepa because I guess she kind of grew up. She was a little kind of superficial initially. And Jamina, to me, is just downright mean. Just mean. But she's showing her honest feelings of things and why she feels that way. So you end up, it's like coming together and they've grown up and accepted one another for the way they are. And they've all matured. So that's all I'll say because it's given away a little bit of the ending. Yeah, I kind of related to all of them. Jamini, less than the other two. But you did feel for her and understand why she felt the way she did. It was just so intense. Anyway, that just shows how well the author wrote the book because it made me feel these strong feelings towards these women and even the mom. I won't go into the mom. But all in all, it's a very good read. I highly recommend it. I really enjoyed the book Independence by Chitra Banerjee Divakaruni. It's a very good read, and I hope you pick it up if this sounded like something you would like to read. Anyway, we appreciate you hanging out with us. Thanks for being here and talking books with us.
And if you love stories and want to grow your TBR, hit that subscribe button and join the plot with us. And we'll see you in the next chapter. Bye, y'all.
Bye-bye.